Supergirl, issue 12, Sophie Campbell, writing and on art. Last issue, of course, built up to her fighting the villain who kicked her ass inside Kandor. The Black Flame, and she got the shit kicked out of her. She gets thrown off a tower, left for dead, and there was like a weird cliffhanger as well, but we'll get back to that later. So this issue starts off with Connor and Lena being concerned. Well, Lena's concerned. Connor's kind of ambivalent about the whole thing. But
he's such... God, I hate that they've done back his character a little bit, where they've made him the whole he's too cool for anything. I hate that version of Connor, you know? But I like the unsure Connor.
But Matt, you asked for years for Connor to come back.
I know. I didn't realize we were going to go all the way back to 90s version, you know? I wanted to John's Teen Titans version. That's my Connor. You know, that's the personification I like.
But it turns out everyone else likes this version better. This is the superior version. That's why he's here.
I guess. It was just kind of a bummer. Also, I liked him showing up in Green Lantern with Kyle. And, you know, I felt like whoever was writing that version wrote that line pretty well. This one, not so much, but it's whatever. He's only in the beginning.
Yeah. Him and Lena see Kandor's bottle. They go to the fortress and they realize that there's some trouble afoot. But once we go inside the bottle and we see Supergirl, we see that to save her life, the scientist who's got her has basically cyborged her up, right? Even the cover of the book says Cyborg Girl instead of Supergirl. So
Cyborg Supergirl was right there.
Yeah, but that implies like a villain, though, because of what Cyborg Superman is.
True, but just just the whole... I don't know. Could have just put it over the top.
Like, I get it.
Because that's immediately what I thought was Cyborg Supergirl, and I thought you could play with that. And again, if you're a long-term Supergirl reader, you know that they brought in Zor-El as a Cyborg Superman type.
No, I know, but that's the thing. It has connotations if you use that name.
True.
And I don't think they wanted to go down those paths. It was just, no, she's got cyborg parts. Isn't that cool? Enjoy the cyborgness of her. Right?
And to that, I say no thank you.
I was okay with it.
Enjoy Cyborg Girl.
I am okay with this. One, because we know that as soon as she gets back out to the sun, she's going to heal and be back to normal. So none of this is permanent. This is all just inside the bottle shenanigans.
Yeah. I feel like she's like steampunk LARPing in Kandor now.
But apparently the cyborg parts will emulate some of her powers, maybe not quite to full strength, but they'll give her a bit of an edge inside Kandor. So it's like, okay, that sets up that. She argues a little bit with the powers that be in the Science Council because, all of the young people are rebelling and doing all this bad stuff because you lied to them about the fact that they could never leave because of a genetic problem that would mean that they would die if they left the city. So that's the kind of the cause. I do like the balance here of like, clearly the young people are doing this big like sort of revolt that's dangerous. So obviously they're the bad guys and Supergirl does need to protect the council. But at the same time, she's not siding with the council. She's making it clear the council have made all these bad choices. So I appreciate them walking that tightrope of not having her side with them, because I don't think she should or would want to.
No, she's perfectly in the middle because I feel like Kara believes that they're both out of line, right? They're going about it the wrong way. She feels it like she understands like Kandor wanting to keep its culture, right? So the scientist doing this thing with anybody born after a certain point there can't leave, because if you leave Kandor, that'll destroy the culture. But then with the kids, it's like, look, I understand you being mad, but you can't just take these science experiments and use them as weapons against these other people, right? Like, so again, it's handling they're out of line, but they're right, kind of, and ultimately, but
wait, who's right? Who are you saying that about?
Sorry, about the teenagers, right? They're out of line, but they have every right to be upset, right? Because of this thing that they have a proper grievance, but the way they're revolting is dangerous. Going about
and because they want to murder, right? And obviously that's where Kara's drawing a line. Now, the scientists, on the other hand, the council, we had that cliffhanger last issue, the little tease of what looked like Boy Thunder, right? From World's Finest, and we were like, what the hell is this? What is this going on? That can't be him, right? And it isn't him. It is a clone of him. In fact, they have 3 clones of him to make the Team Thunder, who they've got. And they sent out the girl one to go get Kara at the end of the last issue. That's who saved her. And I actually loved a little bit of dialogue here where the scientist says, oh, there was some kind of mistake in the genetics that led to one of them being female. I do like the little dig there that the scientist sees that as a mistake, as like, oh, that's an error that I couldn't fix, as opposed to just, I don't know, oh, that happened, so that's whatever.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah. Oh, it made me think of X-23 in Marvel, right? Because that was originally why Laura became a female clone of Wolverine, is because they couldn't copy the Y gene, right? So the scientists used her other X gene, well, X chromosome, not gene. The X gene is the thing that gives them powers. Right? They couldn't copy the Y chromosome, so gave her 2, and here she is, the female counterpart of Wolverine. So I do kind of like that it kind of calls upon that, but it also gives this thing to Kara, be like, God, these guys kind of suck. You know, like, I'm going to help them, but no, I mean, I don't like them.
They absolutely suck. The fact that they see her as a mistake, and then Kara, I mean, and this is probably my favorite characterization of the whole book, is that Kara immediately says, yeah, but what do these people who you've made think about this? Do they want to be your team to go out and fight people? Well, how do these clones feel about this? And of course, the Science Council lady immediately goes, they don't feel anything. It is a tool, nothing more. And it's like, oh, you're evil as shit. Like, what? Like, this is a big shit show here, and Kara's going to have to try and clean all this up her damn self.
Science Council's going to science cancel. Don't matter if it's in a bottled city or an exploding planet. They suck. It also was giving me Blade Runner vibes, right? Because this is like the replicants. You don't treat them with any humanity. You give them a ticking clock. You know, you don't treat them like they're living beings. So, and when they push back, there'll be a reason for it.
Yeah, which obviously hasn't happened yet. We're still early days, but because they set up that this scientist was the one that like Superman brought that character David to get tested in Kandor back in that World's Finest story. So he still had his genetic material, like his sequencing and stuff, like in the computer or whatever, and that's how they were able to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's an interesting pull from early on in that run. All right, go for it, I guess. But they do mention here that his outfit was based on a Kryptonian thing, and that's why they've used the same outfit again. It's not because they're like, hey, Boy Thunder's such a role model we all want to emulate. No. It's because Boy Thunder's outfit was based also on this Kryptonian hero of myth and legend, and that's why.
I'm looking at the name because I remember the name gave me a laugh, so now I'm looking for the name. Oh, Hellos, which is like Helios, the Greek god of the sun. So the fact, like, you know, Krypton, the sun, all this other stuff being there, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So as this is all happening, the villain shows up. She's got powers now, of course, because she's got the ring that Kara had. Yeah. I hate Black Flame as a character. I just don't like it. It's villainy.
Yeah. You know.
Well,
there's no nuance.
She starts melting the doors into their base with her heat vision, and all of her followers are cheering. And Supergirl's like, look, I'm going out there. I'm going to stop them. I'm not going to let them kill you, even though I disagree with all this crazy cloning crap you're doing and the fact that you're treating them like, you know, puppets. Not happy with any of this. So I did like how strong Kara's characterization was throughout all this, which was nice. So she comes out, stands off against Black Sun, and who, of course, is like, oh, you've got cyborg parts, and you're alive. Oh, that's wild. So there's some fighting here, and obviously we praised the fight at the end of the last issue quite a bit. I like that here there's a lot of stuff with, like, you know, Kara's cyborg arm, like, sort of has steaming stuff coming off of it because it's, like, taking a heat vision blast and stuff like that. I like this idea of, like, her cyborg parts are deteriorating throughout the fight because they can't actually withstand a proper Kryptonian for that long. So it makes her feel vulnerable, and that's kind of fun. But then there's kind of a twist on it where after a bit of a beating, her cyborg parts start like turning into weapons on their own without her controlling them, into like cannons and things like that. And she's like, wait a minute, these are murder weapons and I have no control over them. I have to try and like somehow get a hold of these and not let them fire, but she's struggling. So it adds this extra little thing where it's like, oh, she's become a puppet for the Science Council against her will here, because like she's got no say in this right now. So that's all going on, and then as we get to the end, that's when the Thunder team, who have all been woken up from their test tubes, all come flying out, and they're ready to fight, and that's your cliffhanger for the issue. So, I have to say, I thought this was another good issue of Supergirl. Yeah. I like I say, the characterization for Kara was strong. I really appreciated her reaction to the clones being on point immediately. It felt like, no, that is Kara. This completely is the way she should react. I think the fighting, once we get to it, is pretty good. I like how it uses the cyborgness of her into the fight, and how it like plays on the fight, and how it makes her vulnerable in some ways, how from an art perspective it gets to look after she's taken some hits. All that stuff I really liked. So no, I mean, yeah, obviously the visual of Boy Thunder is like not great, but I like how the clones are being used in the story. Like, I like what they're doing with them, why the people created them, and Kara's reaction to them. So I like their purpose in the story. I don't really like being reminded of David, the character, but you know, that's something else entirely.
Also, Team Thunder getting the Legion kind of names. You have Thunder Girl, Thunder Kid, and Thunder Lad. I thought that was a bit, you know, I feel like Sophie Campbell pulling from Superman mythos there.
Do you think Thunder Kid and Thunder Lad will have an argument about why one of them's kid and why the other one's lad?
Yeah. Like, well, maybe they have no character as of yet, so we'll have to see. But you know, we'll see. We'll just call them the Thunder Twins as well. You know,
Thunder triplets, even, to be honest.
But I will say I'm much bigger on the art here than some of the story. And it's Campbell as well, and it's mostly the colors. And I had to look at the color. It's Tamara Bonvillian. And just what it's doing with the pinks and the yellows and the oranges. And there's that scene where they start fighting, right? And Black Flame's there. And we do some like zoom ins on eyes. And it goes from Black Flame to Kara. And just what it's doing with the different angles and the coloring behind it. You could have had like just that art without the dialogue, and I think it still would have hit really well. So I want to give Campbell some credit on the art here, doing some really good storytelling.
Yeah. Also, you said Tamara Bonvillian. I guess it's just villain or Bonvillian, because
is it?
When I see her name, I usually think it looks like Bond villain, and I think that's funny.
Yes. No, it is Bond villain. And
I don't even like James Bond, but I just think it's funny that our last name's effectively Bond villain.
Yes. And it is. There's no D there, but yeah, it's Bond villain.
Yeah, I know there's no D, but like it's close enough that my mind fills it in.
For whatever reason, I just filled in the villain. I don't know why it did that, but just the coloring here. I kind of like the I don't know what to call the style with the hot pinks and the yellows and again, I think we kind of compared it to Vaporwave last month, and it doubles down here, and
it's I'm trying to compare it. It's a very, not pastels, because that'd be a bit more muted, but it's into the colors you'd have in pastels sometimes.
Yeah,
with the greens and the purples
and they're all
stuff.
Very complementary, and it gives it its own kind of vibe. I'm looking at the other fight scenes with the way that the color background changes to match the action, but then just the way that Campbell does the different angles of the panels as well when it gets to the freeze breath and stuff. Yeah, really good art.
Yeah. No, I was quite into this one. I think I was impressed with the last issue, which was a surprise, and I think, you know, okay, that was good, and it built up to her getting her ass kicked, and that was kind of what I liked about it so much. How is this going to keep that going? And there's just some little bits, you know, like there's stuff with Lena and Connor at the start, or just kind of whatever. But the actual like debate she's having with the council, and then the actual fight and the way the fight plays out at the end, I really like. So, and then her reaction to the clones, I thought was perfect. So, honestly, had a really good time. You know, obviously the run took a bit of time to get going, and that's kind of why we dropped out of it, because I felt like it was spinning its wheels. But seems like it has direction and focus now, and now 2 issues into this arc, I'm quite pleased. So. What are you giving Supergirl issue 12?
I'm gonna give this a strong 7.5.
Yeah, I might go as far as the 8, honestly. I might nudge it up just that bit. I think I think it was a good issue. So, happy days.